to be infinity on both sides, future as well as the past. So ultimately, infinity multiplied by defects would become an enormity in itself. Unbelievable. So the statement should not be accepted, in such simplicity that everything, every time the universe is created, it is improved upon. Every time you can say this, that every time the universe is created, it is perfectly created for the purpose, in relation to the purpose for which it is created. This is a correct statement. And this is a statement which can apply to eternity. Every time God creates anything, let's forget for the time being the universe, anything, He creates to a purpose. And that thing is perfectly situated to that purpose. So, no objection can be raised to this equation. The moment you slip out of the four walls of this equation, then you will lead yourself into trouble.
Okay.
Right? Is it all?
Well,
there was a third question which
I'll search for it just now.
which you were groping for. Huh?
Yes, I'll search for it just now.
Okay, all right.
Come back to it later.
Who was there? Who else was there who wanted to ask a question? Somebody else raised his hand. Yes, Mr. Munir Dilbi, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We know we have a saying by Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, says, "Muru awladakum bis-salati li-sab'a, wadribuhum 'alayha li-'ashr." First, I would like to know whether this saying is true, and if it is true, to what extent can we understand that beating of children may be useful in bringing them up? And whether this contradicts the verse, the understanding of the verse in the Holy Quran, La ikraha fi din, because to teach us.
Yes, explain. Please. Ahmad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has divided the period of teaching children and making them pray into three periods. Divide that period into three sub-periods. Number one, between age 7 and 10. Number two, between age 10 and 12, maturity. And number three, from then onwards. The Sharia becomes compulsory for a person after he reaches the age of maturity, not before that. So whatever belongs to the first two periods, between 7 and 10 and 10 to 12, belongs to a period when Sharia had not become compulsory for the child. And whatever is said about the period after maturity or majority, that is about the period when Shariat had become compulsory. So you can't find a single reference in any tradition of Hazrat Rasul Kareem sallallahu alayhi wa sallam where he allows any person to force a prayer, to force some person to pray, whether he is his child or other relative, after the age of maturity. He speaks in that limited period where deen had not become compulsory, so la ikraha, the question of la ikraha was not applicable. The question of la ikraha comes into play the moment the deen becomes compulsory for somebody from Allah. And from that time on, nobody has a right to interfere and force somebody to follow Allah in matters to which this pertains. I mean, this does not have an unlimited application. it has certain exceptions which can be explained later on, but that will, enlarge the issue far too much. I don't want to discuss that here. But for your question, let this suffice that up to 12, prayer had not become compulsory for the child. So you were training him of something which was not necessary for him to do. And that is the training period. And during that training period, judging from this tradition, we can conclude that you can apply force a little bit in other directions as well. Not only regarding prayer, but regarding other trainings. But not before the age of 10. Before the age of 10, you can only persuade children and try to win your point through persuasion and through love. But when they reach the difficult age between 10 and 12, when they become most nasty, and this is an observation, a universal observation in fact. Children who are still children but have crossed the critical age of 10 and traveling fast towards maturity, they are the most difficult children to handle, be they male or female. And they show some very ugly characters at that time. And they become most difficult psychologically to handle. That is the time when a measure of force is permitted to be used against them by way of teaching. And it is a measure of force only. Because in other traditions, Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam has forbidden to beat a child, slap a child on the face. And that shows that still a child has a self-respect. And if somebody is slapped on the face, it's not just a measure of force applied, it's also an insult. And because also it's a delicate area, and an injury, a permanent injury may be caused by that, so Rasulullah is prohibited. So you are not permitted to use unlimited force by way of correcting a child or teaching a child, but a limited measure of force after your training of 3 previous years has failed. But it is not expected that that training, if carried out in good earnest, would fail, and you would require beating when the child has reached that age. Because studying from the life history of Anand sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself, there is not a single incident quoted where he himself had to apply that force to any child. And again, studying the life history of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, we can again say that we can't be reminded of a single incident where Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam had to apply force for teaching children. In fact, he abhorred the application of force in general. So this tradition of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam should be understood in the light of his own conduct, his own attitude towards children, and also in the light of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam's conduct, who came to revive the tradition of Hazrat sallallahu alaihi wasallam for this particular age. So things of history would become things of present day reality. So judging from these two, I can assure you that if it is permitted as a last resort, not as an encouragement to indulge into this habit. And that is also permitted before deen has become a must for somebody. Only in the formative stage. Once one has grown into his own individual personality, then he is answerable to God.